unbutton one button?
Looks like we have about 2 minutes.
2 minutes?
Three.
No, I think we have about 1 minute.
Am I slow?
Where's the phone?
You could be fast. It is? So let's get going. I'm ready. You look very casual. In a good way. I'm even more casual. Well, I'm not wearing socks. I mean, I am wearing socks.
Let's start with singing.
Yeah,
Just go into it, or you want to?
we can do that.
Without readings?
I handle it also. The sun is going down. It's shining through the trees. Another week's gone by, become a memory. So put away your hammer. There's nothing left to do. Come inside and find the gift that's waiting here for you. Oh, it's time to say good Shabbos, 'cause all your work is done. Gonna spend the day together with the Holy One. Make a special blessing on a cup that's filled with wine. Man and his creator, it's a very special sign. Your candles will be burning, filling your homes with light, singing songs of Shabbos far into the night. So put away your hammer, there's nothing left to do. When you're home, you'll find the gift that's waiting there for you. Oh, it's time to say good Shabbos, 'cause all your work is done. Gonna spend the day together with the Holy One. Make a special blessing on a cup that's filled with wine. Man and his creator, it's a very special sign. Good Shabbos.
We'll pause now, remembering with reverence yahrzeits of our beloved departed observed until sundown this evening, the third day of Av. Alan Barnstein, Raphael Bass, Rosalind Blankman, Gertrude Brager, Frank Cohen, Louis Dopkin, Dorothy Firo, Louis Gordon, Dr. Seymour London, Jack Rosing, Rose Spector Schwab. Zecher Tzadik Livracha, may their righteous memories continue to bring blessing into all of our lives, together saying to that, Amen. And in solemn testimony to that unbroken chain of faith that does link us generation to generation, those in mourning or observing yahrzeit, if you'll please rise. Mourner's Kaddish, page 124. Page 124, Mourner's Kaddish. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
V'alma divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayechon u'b'yomechon u'b'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael ba'agala u'b'zman kari v'imru. Amen.
Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah mevorach leolam u'lalmei alamaya.
Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar, v'yitaleh, v'yitalal, Shemei dekudsha
Richu.
Le'ela minkol birchata, v'shirata, tushbechata, v'nechemata, damiran v'alma v'imru.
Amen.
Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen.
Amen.
Oseh shalom v'rumav, hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu va'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen.
Amen.
May be seated, turning back in our prayer books to page 38, and we'll join singing together Lecha Dodi.
It is customary, although Lecha Dodi is a joyful song, on the Shabbat preceding Tisha B'Av, to sing it to the tune of Eli Tzion, which is one of the keynotes for Tisha B'Av, which is a very sad and mournful day. So join me if you know the melody, and even if you don't, please join me. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, ene Shabbat nikabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, ene Shabbat nikabela. Shamol bezachor bidibur echad, Hishmianu el hamiuchad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, Leshem ultiferet velithilah. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, ene Shabbat nikabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, ene Shabbat nikabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, ki hi mekor habracha, merosh mikedem nesucha, sof maaseh b'machshava techilah. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, ene Shabbat nikabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, ene Shabbat nikabela. Mikdash melech yirmelucha, kol mitzim mitoch hafecha, rav lach shevet be'emek habacha, vehu yachamo
On page 40.
בואי בשלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי כלה, בואי כלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
Traditionally pause at this time to offer condolences from the congregation to members of our community who have been bereaved during the past week. This week to the family of the late Adele Schikowitz and to the family of the late Bill Oberfelder. Bottom of page 41, joining together, traditional Friday evening greeting for mourners. Hamakom Yenachem Etchem B'Tok Sha'ar Avelei Tzion V'Yerushalayim. May the Holy One who comforts Israel grant you solace in bereavement. If you'll please remain standing, and we'll turn to page 50 for Baruch Hu.
Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
May be seated. On page 51, we'll continue with responsive reading. English side, page 51, reading responsively.
O Lord, your word brings on the evening twilight. The heavens proclaim your glory.
And we, your creatures on earth, behold in wonder your endless miracles.
Help us to recognize your guiding power in distant galaxies and in our own souls.
Teach us your law of righteousness and love, so that your spirit may govern our lives.
Source of peace, bless our worship. May our meditations find favor in your sight.
May our gratitude for your wonders lead us in love to your service.
So that like the changing seasons, the days, the nights, our lives too will proclaim your glory.
Amen. ומעביר יום ומביא לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו, אל חי וקיים, תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני המעריב על אביב. אהבת עולם בית ישראל עמך אהבת, תורה ומצוות חוקים ומשפטים אותנו לימדת. על כן אדוני אלוהינו בשכבנו ובקומנו נשיח בחוקיך ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו ימינו, ובהם נגד יומם ולילה, ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך, בכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך.
Continuing with the Shema's middle paragraph, page 56-57.
והיה
And on page 57, just about the middle of the page, reading together. Therefore, keep these words of mine in your heart and in your soul. Bind them as a sign upon your arm, and let them be a reminder above your eyes. Teach them to your children, speaking of them when you are at home and when you are away, when you lie down at night and when you rise up in the morning. And write them upon the doorposts of your homes and upon your gates. Thus your days and the days of your children multiplied on the land, which the Lord promised to your ancestors, for as long as the heavens remain over the earth. Page 58-59.
ויאמר אדוני אל משה לאמור. אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
And on page 60, toward the middle of that page.
ומלכותו ברצון קיבלו עליהם משה ובני ישראל, לכנו שירה ושמחה רבה, ויאמרו כולם, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה. מלכותך ובניך, הוקע ים לפני משה, זה לינו ואמרו, זה לינו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו ביד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
Turning to page 63, and again we'll continue with responsive reading. Page 63.
Help us, O God, to lie down in peace, but teach us that peace means more than quiet.
Remind us that if we are to be at peace at night, we must take heed how we live by day.
Grant us the peace that comes from honest dealing, so that no fear of discovery will haunt our sleep. Liberate us from enslaving habits which disturb us and give us no rest. May we so live that we can face the world with serenity and with grace.
May we feel no remorse at night for what we have done during the day.
May we lie down in peace tonight and awaken tomorrow to a richer and fuller life.
ושמור צאתנו ובואנו לחיים ולשלום, מעתה ועד עולם, ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך, ברוך אתה אדוני. הפורס סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל. הפורס סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל ועל ירושלים. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, כי 6 ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת וינפש וביום השביעי שבת וינפש. יתגדל ויתקדש ברבה, ועלמא דברה כלותה וימליך מלכותה, ויקום ביום יקום ובקיה לכל בית ישראל, בגלה ובזמן קריב, ויאמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבם מבורך לעולם ולעלמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמי לקודשה בריחו לעילא מן כל ברכתה ושירתה. תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירן בעלמא ואמרו amen.
Rising together, evening Amidah for Shabbos begins on page 69, traditionally recited quietly. Page 69, quiet prayer.
שלום רב על ישראל עמך ועל כל יושבי תבל. שלום רב על ישראל עמך נשים לעולם. כי אתה הוא מלך אדון לכל השלום. כי אתה הוא מלך אדון לכל השלום. שלום רב על ישראל עמך ועל כל יושבי תבל. שלום רב על ישראל עמך נשים לעולם. וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב על ישראל עמך ועל כל יושבי תבל. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם.
May be seated, continuing our service on page 80.
ויקולו השמיים והארץ וכל צבאם, ויקל אלוהים ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה, וישבות ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה. ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי ויקדש אותו, כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו, אלוהי אברהם, אלוהי יצחק, אלוהי יעקב, אלוהי שרה, אלוהי רבקה, אלוהי רחל ואלוהי לאה. האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, העליון, קונה שמיים וארץ. מגן אבות בדברו, מקיים מתים במאמרו. האל הקדוש שאין כמוהו, המניח לעמו ביום שבת קודשו. כי בם רצה להניח להם, כי בם רצה להניח להם, לפניו נעבוד ביראה ופחד, ונודה לשמו בכל יום תמיד מעין הברכות. אל ההודעות אדון השלום, מקדש השבת ומברך שביעי, ומניח בקדושה לעמד ושני עונג, זכר למעשה גדל ויתקדש שמי רבה. יעמד יברך ידותי וימליק מלכותי וחיי כל מימי כל וקיים כל בישראל בגלל בזמן קרי וימרו אמן. יהי שמי רבם מברך לעולם ולעלמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתהלל ויתהלל שמי לקודשה. ברכו לאל אמין כל ברכתה ושירתה ושפקתה ונקמתה דוד עד בעלמה ואמרו אמן. תתקבל צלות ולבת הון לכל ישראל כאדם ובהון בשמיים ואמרו אמן. יהי שלום רבה בשמיים וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו והוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו Amen.
We'll turn together to page 90 for the Friday evening Kiddush. Ask those joining us at home tonight for services. If you're at home, why don't you rise with us as well? Pick up a choice libation, a vintage Manischewitz or whatever it might be,
Our guest Kiddushifier today,
on page 90.
Richie Kolker. Amen. Ivanu vakata ve'atanu kidashta mikol amim ve'shabbat kodshecha ya'ava u'b'ratzon inkaltanu. Amen. Shkoyach. Good job.
You be seated. So, first of all, Rabbi Zaslow is here but lost her voice precisely 5 minutes before services. Whether that's convenient or inconvenient, I don't know, but she has signs that, yeah, wait, here comes one. We've got one. Laugh out loud, I'm sure it will be back tomorrow. So we hope so too. Feel well. Matt, happy birthday as well. Yeah. So little Moses tonight, little Orioles. What do you want to hear first? Orioles? So let's take a vote. Okay. So you want to hear, now just remember, hold on. Remember, if you hear, can he pitch? Yeah. If you hear the Orioles first, then you gotta sit through Moses, you know. But if you hear Moses first, then you gotta look forward to the Orioles. So let's take a vote. You want to hear Moses first? Raise your hands. I think that's going to take you to the Orioles first. Some of you didn't vote. So Moses, I think Moses. Okay, so we'll talk about Moses a little bit. Start reading a new book of the Torah tomorrow morning. The last book, 5th book of the Torah, which is the book of Deuteronomy. How do you say it in Hebrew? Devarim, thank you, which means words. Deuteronomy, deuteronomos, second law, right? But Devarim, in the Hebrew, it's words. And happens to be my favorite book of the 5 books of the Torah. Just beautiful, beautiful language. Some of the passages, in fact, my favorite passage in the entire Torah is in the book of Deuteronomy. Just gorgeous, gorgeous language. But I struggle a little bit with Moses' perspective at this moment in his life. So here he is. He's on the edge of the promised land. He's managed somehow, through wonders, miracles, a lot of prayer, blood, sweat, and tears, to get the Israelites to the edge of the promised land. He knows they're going to go in. And in that sense, I would think he'd say to himself, I've succeeded. I mean, this is what I was supposed to do, and I've done it at this point. Right? And you know that Deuteronomy essentially is understood as being kind of one long speech that Moses gives right before the end of his life. So imagine that the Israelites are assembled all around him, and he's giving this long speech, like the last message he's going to give to the Israelites. And I've just always struggled with it because it seems to me he's unable to enjoy that moment. He's unable to look around and to look inside also, to see what he's accomplished, and to say to himself, you know what? It wasn't easy, but I did it. I mean, I did. Something to celebrate, I would think. But instead, he really uses most of the time, most of the speech, to kind of look back on things that happened earlier in the Torah. And a lot of the things he looks back on are things that were not pleasant. And he kind of seems like he's unable to get himself off of those things and to really live in the present moment, see it for what it is, and truly appreciate it, I mean, it's something we all struggle with, I think, here and there. You kind of get caught in things that have happened in the past, and then the question is, how do you realize that's the past? Okay, what it was, but here I am, and look what I have. Look what this is. Look what this moment is. Okay, Jeremy, can you tell the congregation about the photograph we took today? We all wore orange. For the Orioles. Okay, why did we do that today? Yeah, and it just so happens that the Orioles are in first place. Yeah, so yeah, so the Orioles are in first place for the first time in. Is it 2016? So let's just say it's been a long time, right? It's been a long time. So the Orioles are in first place. Canner is celebrating with a lovely Orioles shirt tonight. And the Orioles fans are feeling pretty good, as they should, as they certainly should. It's a heck of a lot better to be an Orioles fan this season than a Mets fan, I can tell you that for sure. But also, I would say, as an Orioles fan, enjoy this moment. Enjoy this moment. The hope is, right now, that the team will go forward, maybe maintain control of first place, 4-game series this weekend, right? So it's a big series. But maybe maintain control of first place, certainly going to go into the playoffs and have an opportunity to do something special and have a special season. But regardless of what will happen then in the future, and regardless of all the struggles of the last few years, some of you go regularly to games despite the struggles, right? Live in the present moment and just enjoy it and say, holy Toledo, right? Holy Toledo, the Orioles are in first place. Shabbat Shalom. Alenu's on page 118.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי ארצות, ולא צמאנו כמשפחות אדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגול עלינו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ועושה הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגבי מרומים. אין עוד אמת מלכנו אפס סולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום והשבות אל לבבך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת אין עוד. כך כתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
May be seated. And we'll pause now to remember with reverence the art sites of our beloved departed observed sundown this evening till sundown tomorrow evening, 4th day of Av. Dorothy Alex, Seymour Beta, Shepard Brown Sr., Dr. Philip Khmar, Herbert Davis, Fanny Feigelson, Dennis Lee Gordon, Joseph Arthur Greif, Alvin Hecker, Mrs. Joy Hyman, Marvin Jolson, Rose Katz, Al Klein, Casey R.E. Klotzel, Max M. Kerman, Mary Ann Leiner, Lena Levy, Abraham Marr, Riva Schwab Reynes, Edward Roseman, Miriam Rudick, Geraldine Schultz, and Ann Siegel. Zecher Tzadik Livracha, may their righteous memories continue to bring blessing into all of our lives, together saying to that, Amen. And in solemn testimony to that unbroken chain of faith, those in mourning or observing the art site, will you please rise? Text of the Mourner's Kaddish, page 124. Page 124, Mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
V'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei. Chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael. V'agala u'v'zman kariv v'imru. Amen.
Amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam l'amei almaya.
Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei d'kudsha barichu. Leila minkol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nachata. Damiram v'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya. Chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen.
Amen.
Oseh shalom b'imrumav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. May be seated. Schedule of services for the remainder of the weekend. Tomorrow morning, Shacharit services beginning at 9:30. 9:30 tomorrow morning, Shacharit services. Casual dress is recommended.
More casual than
More casual than that, even. More casual than that. So casual dress recommended. Services at 9:30, beginning at 9:30. We should wrap up services tomorrow morning about 11:09. 11:09.
see if we can beat it.
Tomorrow evening, Mincha Marav Havdalah services, online only at 8:30. Sunday morning, 9:15 in the morning, services here in the Gorn Chapel and online. Sunday evening is online only at 5:30. 2 study opportunities tomorrow morning are available. The online Torah study class will begin at 8:45, 45 minutes before services. And the prophets class, we're actually beginning a study of the book of Judges tomorrow morning, also beginning at 8:45 here in the building in the Baum boardroom. And after service tonight, the gathering is where? In the Soul Center, right? So there's a young adult gathering. How did I get invited? So that gathering, if you're here for the gathering post-services, it's in the Soul Center. And we'll conclude singing together on page 16, Shalom Aleichem.
This is an ancient melody that I believe came from Sfat. Shalom Aleichem Malachei Hasharet Malachei Elyon Mimelech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu ברכם לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון. ממלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ברכוני לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון. ממלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. צאתכם לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון. ממלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. In the good old summertime, in the good old summertime, strolling down the shady lane with your baby mine, you hold her hand and she holds yours, and that's a very good sign that she's your Tootsie Wootsie in the good old summertime. Shabbat Shalom. Tootsie Wootsie.
I want to tell you, I want to send you. Did I tell you that I got my